Hey guys, Steve Simpson here with Central Florida Property Management. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since we did a market update, so I wanted to give everyone a market update. It is October 13th, 2023. So here we go. To start off though, I think we need to go back to kind of explain how we got to what's going on in the market now. So let's go all the way back to mid-2021. Between mid-2021 and mid-2022, mid to late 2022, the Orlando rental market increased between 30 and 35%, depending on where the property is located. That is a huge increase. To put it in perspective, between 2017 and 2020, on average, rents would increase between 3 and 7% annually each of those 4 years. So to go from chugging along at 3 to 4% or 3 to 7% annually to 1 year, 30 to 35% year-over-year increase, just an enormous amount of increase for one year. What happened? A lot of different things, very multifactorial. I'm not an economist, but I have a feeling that all the stimulus money that came in had something to do with it. We had tons of net immigration. We've always had a lot of immigration for being in Florida, but particularly during the pandemic when everyone was moving here, trying to get out of lockdowns and what have you, just people flooded in here. The housing supply was relatively low because there had been not enough built between the end of the housing crisis in 2010, 2011, and 2023. So you had tons of immigration, not enough housing, demand goes up, supply stays the same or can't keep up, so prices went crazy. You also had a lot or not a lot of multifamily housing relative to what the market would really need. Other things involving too, just general inflation, all that sort of stuff. Long story short, the market went crazy. Fast forward to today. I'm not saying the opposite's happening, but the market has certainly plateaued in a lot of areas and it's going down in others. I wanted to show some kind of snippets I found from just doing a little bit of research on national trends and some just for Orlando specifically. So I pulled this up. This is from CoStar. CoStar is a multifamily numbers reporting company. So if you look here about halfway down, this is the vacancy rate for Orlando multifamily properties as of September of this year. Orlando's at 9.6%. If you go back here, this is Q2 of 2022, so about 18 months ago. This is the occupancy rate for multifamily properties in Orlando at 97.1%, which would be 2.9% vacancy. So we've gone from 2.9% vacancy in Q2 of 2022 to 9.6% vacancy in Q4 of 2023. Pretty big increase. As you can imagine, vacancy and rental rates usually tie hand in hand. As vacancy goes up, prices go down because you're trying to get people in the property. Obviously, you want someone in paying rent. So as vacancy goes up, prices come down. Here is Zumper. Zumper is a site similar to Zillow. If you've not heard of it, it's a rental website. They keep track of data on 100 cities. This is also for September of this year. 40 have rental increases slightly up, while 60 are either flat or down. So 60% of the markets that they track are either flat or down. And finally, here's Zillow. This is also September 2023, talking about the areas where rent increased versus decreased. Biggest monthly declines in rent were observed this September in many former hotspots for pandemic-era growth, including Orlando, right here at negative 0.4%. Obviously not the best news, but we had a great run with a 30 to 35% year-over-year increase. Obviously, that's not sustainable. It can't keep going forever. And I think right now we're seeing a slight correction, plateauing, slight correction, what have you. Why is this important? If you have a property coming up to be rented, this is important to think about the fact that the rates that you've seen over the last 18 months probably are not there. We're also not in a great season for leasing. September and October are kind of on the downward slope of the leasing season. So going into a declining rental rate in this time of year, obviously, is something to consider when you're renting your property out. As you see, we've made other videos recently about ways what we think you should do to maximize your investment. Given this information, I'll let you watch those other videos hear what we have to say about that. This is about just the market in general. If you have a property coming up for lease renewal, this is something to think about too. This is not the same market we were in a year or two ago. If your tenant wants to leave or doesn't want a large increase, odds are you're not going to go back on the market and get top dollar super fast like you did 2 years ago. So something to consider when you have a lease coming up for renewal. Nothing to be alarmed about. It's just something to keep in mind when you're making decisions about your rental properties. Anyway, want to bring that to y'all's attention. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hope everyone's doing great. And happy October.